particular. I hope my screen is visible to you, right? Just anyone give me a thumbs up.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So I'll be starting with a very simple report today, because I want to clear your like the small queries also. If you have, you can let me know in the chat. It's okay. So that's something what we are going to start with a simple process. So this is something a very simple report. It's like superstore sales analysis. So this is a part of a retail kind of a report, we can say marketing and retail. So if you'll go into the processes, if you'll go into the projects, you'll get different kind of projects. They are not going to stick to particular projects. Some work on healthcare, some work on finance, some work on retail and management, some work on HR management, some pharmaceutical. Like this, you'll get a lot of projects with you. So the domains, it's like it's not fixed. Even if the company is getting one, some companies they get short projects, like a short term kind of a project. So they take up whatever they, and you should be okay, and you should be always ready to take up the different kind of domains, because more number of domains you're going to get it in your portfolio. It's going to increase your knowledge, and as well as it's going to give you a boost in your career growth as well. So this is what, so I'll try to cover almost all the domains what we have it in BI. So that is what we are going to go ahead and do it. So today we'll start with a very important domain, that is management and retail. So it all deals with how many sales is done, profit is done last year, current year. So these are all basic things what we are going to start today. Okay, so this is particular a design for that, and I believe it's like design should be attractive as well, and it should be perfect as well. Whenever you design a dashboard, it should be very perfect, and make sure that there are no spelling mistakes into that. So that is something very important while creating the visualization part. So there should be no spelling mistake most of the time, and the alignment of these figures is very important. It's like you cannot do like this, like suppose it's like kuch figures are up and some are like thoda sa niche, thode se diagonal. So it's like some like mismatch, you cannot do it. So it's like whenever you make it, make sure that you have to align that properly. Align means a proper thing. So जब भी आप ये reports बनाते हो, it's like whenever you do the designing part into this, so you'll have to make sure that you please have to convert that into, export that in PDF, and then look at your report 10 times at least to find out if any glitch is there, or to find out. And if you have a manager with you, so please at least show them the design. See, I have made this thing kind of, can you just have a keep an eye on it, just put an eye on that, so that something is missed with you, maybe your colleague or maybe your manager looks into that, some kind of alignment or something, so they can help you out in the beginning at least. So this is what we need to focus in the design part. Okay, so so obviously we in the classes we are going to have a detailed design part as well, like how you need to design the dashboard also. So it's all a part of a creative, okay, creativity. It's like there are a few people with me here in the session, and everyone has a different way of thinking and different way of designing. So it's not important that everyone has to do the designing part similar kind of. No, they can use their own intellectual things, and they can develop their own designing, but just the requirement should be fulfilled. So this is what something, a short glimpse of designing what I wanted to give you. So basically we are going to start with the design in a detailed manner later on. बाद में हम लोग उसको detail में करेंगे. But right now this is something we'll start. Okay, so the basic thing is like maybe like everyone is aware, like almost like how we get the data, but still we'll start something from the beginning. So this is my Power BI tool, and this is very user friendly what we use. And what I was like speaking, like if you can see, you will see three types of views over here. Okay, so a basic question what it's going to be asked you in the interview, it's like, tell me the architecture of Power BI. So this is also very common what is going to be asked. So you need not have to tell them everything here. We need to get the data. Data hub is there. We can connect to SQL server. Then measures are there. Then we need to publish the report. No, he don't want to hear all those things. He just want to know the architecture of the Power BI. So what is the basic model of Power BI? So that he wants to hear from you. So basically, just in a simple line, you can tell them that it consists of three parts. That's your report view, where we create the report. The second part comes with the data view. So here is the data view. It's like we perform the ETL process into that. All the cleaning part of the data, all the workings on the data, everything we do it in the data view. And finally, here comes with a relationship view that is known as your model view. In the model view, what we do, we develop the connections between the table. And right now I'm using a single table since I wanted to start with a basic project today. So here it happens when we start getting more tables, and then we need to create a relationship between them, because if you don't create the relationship between the tables, your report is not going to work. If in order to make the report work into that, you need to create the relationship. So later on in the later classes, I am going to explain you two things, how you're going to develop the relationship using different kind of schemas. But in some of the projects, since I told you, like once you start doing the projects, your challenges are going to be different every time. Every day you're going to get a different challenge, and you should be okay for learning those things. So it's like sometimes in some of the reports, let me tell you that your relationship also doesn't work. In that terms, you have to switch to the other option. So that is what I'm going to share with you in the later classes also. Not even share with you, but I'm going to teach you as well that sometimes if your relationship doesn't work, so how you are going to tackle that situation. Because what if you get millions of data with you? I work with millions of data together into one report, and your Power BI also doesn't support in that terms. And when you start making the relationship, it is not going to work out. So in that, we should have an alternative method. We should have a knowledge what exactly we should do it in order to overcome that situation. And even you can suggest that to your boss. Even if he doesn't have an idea of that, you can suggest him, yes, this is the other option, we can do it. So that is the reason we are going to focus on the real-time scenarios over here. So that is something a later part what we are going to cover. So basically coming back to the architecture, it has three parts. That's your report view and data view and the model view. If you give the answer this much also, he is not going to ask you in the detail, your interview. He knows, then you know the architecture of the Power BI. So don't go into the whole set of things. We have visualization, we have these graphs, and we have a database, then we develop the connections. No, he don't want to get those answers from me. He want only the architecture. Architecture is nothing. It has three kind of things. One is your report view, where you develop the visualization part into that. The ETL process is done into data view, and then you create the report a relationship into a model view. So this is basically the architecture. Okay. So now let's go ahead with certain kind of details. Okay, in file, if you go in the options and settings, you'll find lot many things. But right now, please don't do anything into those things, because it may change up something in your into your Power BI. So that part we are going to work on later on. So basic what we cover is like once we want to create a new one, you need to open certain kind of report. You can do it, and it's like save and save as. That is something what we use it. And get data, it's like you are aware, in order to get the data we need to do. So import and export is what something important. I'll be showing you later on if you are not aware about it. So we'll cover those things also. It's just if you want to like export that into two kind of formats, PDF or your PowerPoint in your PowerPoint. So these are the two formats you can export into the reports. It depends on the client's requirement as well. So this is something. And publish is something which you'll find it over here also. The publish is thing, it's like I told you, when you work on a cloud-based platform, so in that terms you need to publish these reports into the service, that is Power BI service. That's a paid one. So in that case, you'll use a published one. Okay, so this is something, the overview. If for the home, we already cleared some things, and insert as something, the things what we can put it in your presentation. So don't worry, I'll be covering all those things over here. So in that, what we use majorly, that I'll tell you here, if you can see this paginating report. This is a new concept which has come up into the platform. Like Power BI, initially before this, Power BI was not that much strong before for supporting these paginating reports. So in that case, we used to develop that into a different kind of platform. It's like a report builder, SSRS we call it as, or like SQL SSRS. That's the report builder tool where we can like they used to develop these paginating. Now they have developed so much into Power BI, like they have come up with a Microsoft paginating tool, report builder tool. Once you are done with the class, you can go ahead and search on it, like what exactly is this tool. So that also we are going to cover into this coming sessions, because let me tell you, some of the companies, they work only on the paginating reports. Anyone who has idea about paginating reports? What is paginating reports? Just a quick. No one? Okay. Fine. It's
It
okay.
is, I think it is designed to share or train.
Sorry?
It is the kind of preparing the report to share or print.
Exactly. Perfect. Yeah. So this basically report is used for printing purposes. That's perfectly fine. That's correct. Okay. So it's like I'll show you a quick difference between that. Okay. Why exactly we need a paginating report? Okay. Like suppose if I take a matrix over here, I just put some data into that. I'll just put it customer ID, customer name, city, country. Okay, fine. I just added some of these reports. I won't take matrix. I'll take a table just to create a view of it. Okay, so this is something a view of it. Okay, so if you start exporting this particular, if you can see that there are lot many data into that. Okay, lot many records. It's going up high and high. So it's like someone, if they want to see that, they want a printout of this particular thing. So it's not possible over here, because the reason is, like once you export that also, I'll just show you quickly in front of me itself. See, I just exported that. Okay, quickly, if you can see that if I exported this report, it's coming only that part of a report which is visible in front of me in Power BI. See, only this much data. But what if I want the whole set of data? See, I want the whole thing. It's visible only this part, but I want the complete records over here. So in that case, we use a paginating report. So in paginating report, it is supported by service actually. So whenever you put these things into service, you'll be able to take the printout of that particular report. So that is what we use a paginating for printing purposes. Some of the companies, they need the reports as a final output, and they want to take a printout of those reports. So in that case, they prefer paginating report. But let me tell you my experience into that, the real experience into that. Power BI has a paginating report option available. That difference I'll show you later on once in the service I'll show you. So it's like whenever you put the paginating report, you can get only this much particular in your printout. But if you want something attractive, like more into that, like I want something, the logo, I'll just show you. Okay. In the next class, I'll keep this thing paginating with you. When we are going to go ahead with a detailed overview of the paginating reports. We are going to take one class for that as well. So when just for a reference, I'll tell you, it's like whenever you want to develop a paginating report with a kind of proper designing into that, means you want a logo into that, you want a heading into that, and you want a footer into that. So all these kind of thing you wanted in your print process. If these things, if you wanted, so in that case, your Power BI service, the paginating report doesn't support you. In that case, you have to download one more thing of Power BI, that is known as your Power BI report builder tool. So in that report builder tool, you can go ahead and design that paginating report. So this is something what we are going to cover in detail. That's the paginating report. Okay. Hope I was clear on this as well. I'll come back on the insert part. So these are something, it's like these are the 4 important tools what we are going to use it mostly in the design process. That's your text box, button, shape, and image. Okay. Image is something when you want to add some logo into the corner, you can quickly do it. But like if you want to create a border over here, so for that thing, we use these kind of shapes. Put a rectangle over here, give a color to that, put a text box on that. It would be more attractive for you for giving the borders on that. So like this, you can create a borders as well. You can create a border to your this thing, to your report. So whenever we'll start with the designing thing, so I'll be showing you that as a practical example as well, that how we can go ahead. So these are the tools what we use it mostly in most of the designing part of that. To adding the logo, you can add an image here in the corner, or wherever your requirement, the client requirement, you can just go ahead and do it. So this is something what we use, these commonly used tools over here. Now let's come up with a modeling. Okay, modeling will cover this thing later on. So in this theme, okay, I'll explain you a short description about the theme. Now you'll say that this is something common which is available in your PPT also. So you just get the theme, you start designing, it's easy. So, but here in Power BI, it's something different. If you can see over here, there are certain kind of options over here. That's browse for themes, theme gallery, customize current theme. And these are some like browse for themes. If you go ahead, like I won't take these things in detail because I want you to do your homework as well. So take a theme from your Microsoft. If you go ahead and check it in the internet, you'll get a lot of themes and you can take it in your presentation as well, in your reports. So if like certain kind of themes you like it, you can go ahead and save it with you. And later on, you can just use it by using a theme gallery. So like this, you can go ahead and take the themes. Now, I'll tell you one thing. It's like there are certain kind of aspects when you take the themes from your clients itself. Some of the clients, they have a requirement that you have to follow only their way of structure, their way of reporting. Okay, so they provide you the theme. So they provide you in the GCON format, and just you need to take it, insert that the way you get the database. Like whenever you get the database from your get data, and here you'll see an option for a GCON file, and you can just simply take that file over here, and it will come automatically in your theme. Because it's in some of the cases, client have their own way of theme, or they want you to follow the same process. So never switch on or put more attractive things into that. Let me be very clear, even if you don't like it, even if you feel like, you can suggest them, yes, but even if you don't feel like, if you think that the format is too small, but it can be increased. But to be very precise, they follow their way of working sometimes. So please follow those things what they want you to make the presentation. So for that, they have a particular themes. So you can use that. So if you can see that GCON file. So directly you can take the theme from the GCON file and it would be automatically added in your Power BI. So this is how you can add your theme into Power BI. Okay. So this is what you're going to get it in view section as well. Okay. So these are some of the things what we are going to study later on. The filters, what we use it over here, bookmarks. I'll show you how we are going to use the bookmarks also into the Power BI thing. But I'll give you a short filters. It's like we are already aware of filters. Like there are different kind of filters over here. So we'll cover that session as well. It's like what all filters we use it. It's like if you can see there are filters. It's like on a page level filters. We call it particular page. If you want to apply the filters only that page, so you have to use those page level filters. If you want to apply some filters on across the reports, then we have a report level filters. And suppose if you want to apply the filter only to the particular visual, then you have a visual level filters. So there are different kind of filters what we prefer into Power BI, and you have to work a lot on these filters. So we need a one complete session for that. Bookmark is something I'll tell you, like there is a requirement of a client. It's like you need to make a lot of visualizations over here. Okay, you need to make a lot of now I have created this very simple for you. Okay, I won't save it. So this is something. It's like whenever clients suppose have a requirement that you have lot many, so that kind of a project also I am going to show you. So in that they want lot many visualizations into one page itself. So in that case, we make use of bookmarks and buttons. Where you'll find a button in view, you'll find a bookmark, but if you can see over here, you'll find a button. So the magic of button and just a bookmark is going to help you make the visibility of lot many visuals into one page itself. It's like once you click the button, you're going to get a different visual. Once you click on the second button, you'll get a different visual. So it's like on and off, it's going to be there. So that is going to reduce the amount of pages you're going to use into that. So this is what it's going to help you out in that process. So, so obviously, just we are going ahead with the overview of Power BI today and a short report over here, what we are going to start on later on that. So, don't worry, we'll be going up in a detailed explanation later on. Just an overview will be doing up right now today. So this is something, if you want, I'll just show you. So big bookmarks are something, it's like this. So we need to add it, and I'll show you the whole process later on. Selections, it's like why exactly we use. I told you, like for with the help of bookmark and button, we can put n means more than, I suppose, 30, 40. It may increase also. The how many visuals you wanted into one report, you can do that magic. Let me come back to this question. Interviewers, they ask you into that particular, sometimes they give you assessment in the advance, and they'll tell you that you need to make a use of bookmarks into your report. So it's like the process starts. Some of the companies, they ask you to make certain kind of report first, and you need to give them the report. And sometimes they mention in that report, you need to make a use of bookmark into that. So I'll be teaching you that as well, how we are going to make a use of bookmark. So it's something about bookmark is nothing but to accommodate lot many visuals into one single report, we make use of bookmarks most of the time. So this is and the selection part what we use along with combination with bookmarks to make it on and off with the visuals. It's like if you want this visual to be highlighted with particular bookmark, so on and off you for that particular show and hide thing, we use the combination of selection and bookmark. So the whole class we are going to get through that about the bookmark, like how we can make use of bookmark into our process. Okay, so this is something, the overview of the bookmark as well. So your assignment, it's like whenever we are going to have a class here, so please make sure whatever assignment I'll be providing you after the session, you'll have to give some of the hours of your daytime to that particular assignment, so that you get a hands-on those things, whatever we are learning in the class. I won't give you all short everything together, but yes, daily basis way, I'm going to give you some of the assignments, and I'm going to ask you the outcome of that assignment. So this is the overview of Power BI, what we have gone through today. Okay, so I'll just start it from the beginning today. So this was a basic report, what we are going to take it in a detail as well. But today we'll focus something about the ETL process of the report. So I'll just take a new report. Okay, so whenever company provides you or even your assessment, it's like whenever you'll start giving the interviews also, you'll be getting a database first. So without database, you cannot do anything with the Power BI tool. So first process is like you are going to get a database with you, okay? The records, the data set with you. So basically, when how you are going to decide uh, with the company, it's like how like sometimes sometimes what happens, they want your suggestion also, okay? Like since you are a business developer, you have those capabilities of giving them a knowledge about the database. Sometimes they'll ask you about the data, they'll give you the frequency of the data, like this much data I have, so what can I use, like what is your suggestion where we can go ahead and deploy our data. So you should study about those data as well. It's like what suggestion you can provide them for using a tool. Sometimes they don't have a tool also. They start using Excel sheets. So we'll start with the beginning thing. So that is something later we'll cover. So it's like whenever you get, as I told you that Power BI has a strong support system over here, and it can get you the data from different kind of platforms. If we'll go ahead something into detail now. So using a get data, you can get the data from lot many sources what they have over here. Okay, so Excel is something basic what you are already aware of. Text and CSV file. CSV file is nothing but the comma separated file. It's separated using a comma, and you can take that, convert that into Excel. And then you have some kind of Excel, XML forms, JSON files. What I told you, for the themes we get JSON files. And if you have certain kind of folder, like the files into your folder, you can directly click on folder and get through the database as well. I'll just show you. Okay. So it's like wherever you keep these databases, you can go ahead and take it from your folder also. So this is one source where you can go ahead and get the data into that. So SQL Server. SQL Server is the most commonly data source what most of the companies use it. So this is how you can get the data from SQL Server as well. So these are some kind of, and some you, if you can see, like I was saying something about the Snowflake, Big Azure. So these are the models which are used, the data sources which are used on a cloud service who handle a lot of data, like bulk amount of data they handle. So these are certain kind of platforms. Salesforce is something what we use it here. So this has recently been added, Salesforce. So Salesforce is like, uh, maybe you are already aware that is a CRM tool, what people use it. So now Power BI has an option for connection with the Salesforce as well. So this is how you can get the data from these different kind of data sources. And like day by day, it's increasing. So this is how we can get the data from these kind of platforms. Okay, sometimes if you cannot find those data sources, you can directly put over here and search for your particular data. Okay, so for Azure also you have lot many Azure portals. So you can use any of the portals what your company has the access to those portals. So you'll need some credentials for that. Directly you cannot add it. The company is going to provide you the credentials for that. So this is something what how we can go ahead and connect the data. Okay. So let's start with a new thing. I'm taking a database over here. Okay. I'll just take one of the database. Okay.
Ma'am, I think your screen is not shared.
No, it's shared. You cannot see the data, like you cannot see my screen.
It's only Power BI desktop. So guys, are you able to see like the normal?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, I'll just
No,
stop it.
sir,
I'll share it.
freeze.
Okay, I did not stop my screen actually. It was visible initially. Okay, I'll just share it 1 second. Can you see?
Yes, sir.
Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So this is how I have just taken a simple kind of a data with me. Okay, just give you an overview how we are going to perform the ETL process on that report. So whenever you get a data into your system, first of all, you'll get a data into your system. It depends on client to client requirement how they are going to provide you the report. Like sometimes they provide you the unstructured data, that is we call it as unclean data, or sometimes we call it as dirty data as well. So this is how I'm taking an example of a simple thing. That's an Excel what I've taken. So your first task should be to analyze about the data. Okay, analyze about the data, the whole set of things you should find out and keep it in the corner. You need to maintain a diary. I must say prefer a diary for that, because this is something very short data what I'm using, but I'll be giving you the example. Even I'm going to share some databases with you, like the data sources with you, where you'll find lot many fields into that. Okay, so we call the fields over here. So lot many fields you'll be getting. So those fields, it's like it's not possible for you to remember the names of all those fields. So for that, you need to segregate about that for that data, and you need to analyze about that data. Analyze means you need to find out that, first of all, go ahead and divide that data into two aspects. Okay, two aspects as well. Find out which are the fields which has only numbers. Like if you can see these things, inches, this is something unnamed. So I don't know what is that. So this is something new what I got it. Okay. So weight. So this is something which is also a number. This is something which is also a number, that is numeric. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to divide this database into two parts. It's like numeric and the text based data. So this is going to help you in creating the visualization. Put it in your diary and divide that into two sections, like numerical data and non-numerical data. So later on it would be easy, and number of numerical data and what all fields are there in numerical and what all are not there in non-numeric. So this is how, just go ahead and divide that. Okay. Now your first task should be to analyze about that report. Okay. Study about that report. If you have a sufficient time for the project, please give sufficient time to analyze that data, because the reason I'm telling you these things, if you don't analyze the data properly and you start jumping on the reports, it's like if you start jumping on the designing part of the report, that I'll start jumping and later on I can do the analyze part. If you feel like that sometimes, like fine, I'll do this, I'll start doing the designing part, later on I'll see about the data, what to do about it. But no, this is something very wrong process, which is very incorrect. First step should be, it's like major time, put it in your analysis of the data. It's like analysis of the data means, in that case you have to study whole of your data. Study means it's not that you need to go ahead and study all the rows over here. No, not required. We have good tools into Power BI, which is going to help you with the overview study of the, like, short study of that particular records. So first of all, in my ETL process, okay, whenever you start with the ETL, so maybe you'll get the interview question also, that how you perform the ETL process into your Power BI. So you'll say that we go ahead and check into Power Query. So I'll just start up with this Power Query part. So what is the study part of this? Okay. So this is something, if you can see the database. Okay. For that, in that database, first of all, go ahead and check all the fields, read them. So if you can see from the beginning itself, it's unnamed. Unnamed is not a field which should be visible. Okay. It should have a proper name over here. Okay. So first of all, go ahead and check all the field names. Okay, here if I find that something is unnamed, which is not visible, so go ahead and edit that first of all. Suppose I'll put it here, serial number. Okay, or I just added that. Okay, now this is something, it's like, if you can see over here, it's starting up with 0. So what if I want to count something, I want to do the calculation, 0 is not visible for me. So in that terms, what I'm going to do it, I'm just going to change it with a serial number, particular serial number. So you need to add it a serial number over here. Okay. Now like this, you can check each and every records. Now, how you're going to check the each and every records? But what if the database is too much? You have 20,000 of records, you have 30,000 of records. Is it possible for you to go ahead and even scroll it down and check it? No, it's perfectly not possible. So what are you going to do? Here, we are going to use these kind of tools over here. So just go ahead. First of all, go ahead and check all kind of here. See, it's company over here, type name over here, screen resolution over here, CPU, RAM, memory. So it's like, go ahead and just have a glance on it. So you just have to check over here. So what all things are here? If any spelling mistake is there, you need to correct it. Because it's not that you should only focus on the visualization part. That yes, I'll write the correct spelling in the visualization. Even if something is wrong over here, you are going to neglect that. No, it's like you should be very perfect while designing the dashboard itself. You should go ahead and correct these spellings as well if it is incorrect. Because this is a professional way of doing the dashboard, because whenever your client sees those reports, but because whenever you go into the data view, your fields are going to be visible over here in the corner. So if your client sees something, it's like the spelling mistake is there, it won't look nice to for the report as well. So even if it is not required, it's not compulsory, but even if it's not required, I would suggest you go ahead and check the spelling, and if it's incorrect, please correct that, because it's going to be reflecting in your report as well. Okay, so first is like, go ahead and check all the fields if any spelling mistakes are there. So put it those things, and the format as well. Okay, and I suppose if I'll tell you that this is something
Hi, Nancy ma'am. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, tell me.
So I think your screen is freezed, ma'am.
Is
We're
it
still stuck with that inches.
others can see my screen?
No, ma'am. Actually,
No,
your
ma'am.
screen got stopped.
We,
So
we
Oh, wait.
yeah.
Now it's proper.
Yes.
Is it okay now?
Not yet. Yeah, now it is
Okay.
visible.
Okay, fine. So this is something when we go ahead and check the fields over here. If you find something which is memory written over here like this, okay, something which is written here in small letters like this. But if you can see that the others thing are in the capital letters, okay? So this is something which is also a part of a dirty data, that is that unclean data. The data is still not clean according to this, because the format should be proper. Like if it's like starting word capital, please go ahead, give a minute for that, not even a minute, a second for that, and just change it into a capital letter, because this will make your table look neat and clean. So this is just a part of a cleaning of a data. Okay. So like this, you can go ahead and check all the fields, that is the headers, the heading of all those things, the columns. So this is how you is going to be your first step, what you're going to go ahead and check the spellings and everything. Now let's come back to here over here. Go ahead and click on every filter over here. This is again a major part. Now, if you can see over here in this database, this is something blank which is given. So don't ignore it. Okay, just go ahead and check it. Go ahead and read it, what exactly it is there, why it's something. Okay, so this is something which is blank. So just don't ignore that. Just go ahead and check it. Why exactly it is blank? If you can see now, something which is there, that lot many blank records are there. So this is something what needs to be removed. The error needs to be removed, that you need to exclude those blank records and take the other records. Now I have taken all these records. Okay. Now this is what I am doing this into a transform form. Here I'm doing after loading the data. Remember, I'm taking this and doing this after loading the data. But sometimes you have to transform the data before loading the data in order to reduce the scrap data from your data source. Because sometimes if your file is too bulky, it's not possible for you to take it directly and then do the workings into the Power BI. This Power BI is not going to support you. So in that case, we first transform the data, we first perform the ETL process, then we take only the clean data into the system. So there are two ways of doing that. First is directly take the data into your Power BI and then clean it, then do the ETL process. Second method, first clean the data, do the ETL process, and once it is clean, then load the data. Got it? So these are the two ways what we are going to, and later on I'm going to tell you which you are going to prefer, because this is not something about liking, that I like this method, I'm going to do this thing. I don't like this method, I like the second method, I'm going to do the second method. No, you cannot do those things on a liking part. This is again a requirement type, because here also you have to use your own intelligence. How much is the data? What is the weightage of the data? What is the capacity of the data? Whether you can directly load it or you have to perform the ETL process. So it's something you need to analyze the data beforehand, how much bulky it is, like whether you can go ahead and do it, how you're going to manage the option. So I just showed you the two options we use it. Then you have to find it according to the capacity of the data. So this is something what I have done. I have like removed those blank spaces over here. Okay. Later on, let's jump to the next one. So this is something 2-in-1 convertible gaming notebook, notebook ultrabook workstation. Any of you just quickly tell me what is the mistake over here? I'll say something is not clear over here. Something is dirty over here. What is that dirty thing? Tell me. It's not clean. Quickly, can you tell me why it's not clean? In this particular column, okay? I'm asking only in this column. Type name.
Ma'am, here is one unwanted data that is 2-in-1 convertible, I think.
No, it may be possible that 2-in-1 convertible, maybe it's there. So directly you cannot change it. For this, you need to confirm this with your client. Please make sure that if you're not sure for anything into the database, to be honest, don't directly remove it. This is going to like screw your whole data, means your whole like पूरा आपका मेहनत इसमें बेकार जा सकता है. रीजन आई टेल यू, कुछ डेटा अगर ऐसा होता है और आप उसको आप श्योर नहीं है और आप निकाल देते हो, उसको निकालने के बाद व्हेन यू डेवलप द होल रिपोर्ट, पूरा रिपोर्ट डिजाइन एवरीथिंग, योर 8 days you put into that, and once you submit that report to your client, your client
and another is notebook, I think.
Exactly. So that is an error. Okay, that is something which is a wrong thing, which is not a clean data, it is unclean. Okay, but this is something, a query over here, 2-in-1 convertible. So that is something wrong, spelling है mistake. But here you need to check it with the client कि हमें ये निकालना है या नहीं निकालना है, ये गलती से आया है या it's something which has been added by the client. Please confirm me. So ऐसा कुछ अगर आपको दिखता है, please directly communicate with your client before putting your 8 days into that. क्योंकि इससे क्या होगा ना, आपकी मेहनत पूरी बेकार जाएगी, बिकॉज आप पूरा रिपोर्ट बना लोगे, उसके बाद आपका क्लाइंट बोलेगा नहीं ये तो था इसमें, व्हाई यू हैव रिमूव्ड दैट. सो दैट्स समथिंग नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट. सो इफ यू आर अनश्योर अबाउट दीज काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स, डोंट डायरेक्टली रिमूव इट, बिकॉज कभी कभी ऐसा होता है, कुछ नाम ऐसे होते हैं जो उनके साथ में पैटर्न फॉर्म नहीं करते, दे डोंट फॉर्म द पैटर्न टू दोज पर्टिकुलर कॉलम्स और रिकॉर्ड्स, but still they have certain kind of impact on the database. So please confirm that with your client whether you should go ahead and do it. So this is something I'm not sure. So I'm going to ask this with my client. Okay. So now if this is perfectly sure ki notebook and netbook, so this is something jo ki error hai. So this is how we are going to go. We are going to just simply go ahead and rename that netbook to a notebook. Sorry, replace that. So I did not maintain transcripts. So this is how you can go ahead and replace the values into that. So, but make sure whenever you do the replace part of into that, you need to put a correct spelling over here. Okay. Even if you put the incorrect spelling, it's going to give you the error. Okay. It's not going to means replace those particular records. So like this, go ahead and replace those with a correct spelling itself, and make sure that the format should be every time common. But that's my experience. I prefer these things. Maybe you can prefer your way of working. But I make sure that मेरा starting word हमेशा capital होता है और बाकी के words small letters होते हैं. So this is what I prefer every time. और अगर दो words है मेरे पास, so I make sure that I combine that with a capital letter in between. So like resolution को capital से हम लोगों ने उसको divide कर लिया है. So this is my way of working for joining those records. So it's like if you want to keep all in capital letters, but I would suggest don't put all in capital letters. It doesn't look nice and it's not a standard format. So your standard way of formatting is starting word should be capital. So this is how you can go ahead and replace those values with a correct spelling. But make sure that you're putting a correct spelling. Now let's go ahead and check something else. Inches में देखते क्या है. If you can see that there are null records, are you going to directly remove that? Throw करेंगे हम लोग ये null values को?
Ma'am, your screen is freezed again.
Okay. Okay, fine. I'll suggest one thing. Whenever you get a null values, so this is something also you cannot do it directly. You cannot directly throw those values if you find the null values into that. You need to analyze that with the other records कि वहां पे भी null values है या नहीं है. अगर वो भी पूरा blank है, then you can think of removing that. But वहां पे records है और यहाँ null value है, don't directly remove that. If you're not sure on that, please confirm that with your client whether you have to remove those null values. Okay, so this is a way of cleaning the data. I won't take most of the columns over here because I want you to do the workings on this. So I'll be sharing this database with you and I want you to clean this data and let me know just a short thing आपने क्या क्या किया, and you need to let me know in the next class. Okay. So you want me to share the data with you or like here only in chat, or you want me to give it to you with the other way of medium? Okay, I'll ask her to send you those data thing. Okay, so this is what we have covered today. It's like the basic concepts of Power BI, what we have cleared. So from the next classes, we are going to take one topic along with a real time scenario on that particular case. Today, we went ahead with the ETL process, how you can go ahead and clean the data. Hope I was clear on your perspective, like whatever we covered it today. So today I'll be giving you this data and you need to clean that data and just write down the short steps on it and give me the outcome for that, what all workings you have done. So I don't need your whole Power BI for that. I just want the workings what you have done, just in 4 or 5 lines. Okay, any doubt on this? Okay, fine. All right. So I'll make sure that there were no doubts into the session. And Hope I was up to the mark to your expectations. And today we'll be starting up on the next scenario based working on it. Today we went through with the ETL process with the scenario based thing, because the real time scenarios, the situations, these are the situations what we get it into the database, and then you have to make decision according to the intelligence, according to the requirement, whether you have to remove that data, whether you have to keep that data, or you need to replace those values. So this is how you need to study about the data. So basically you need to analyze the data first before jumping into the report. So this is what we have covered in today's session. So tomorrow, let's meet tomorrow with the next part of the thing, and we'll go ahead with the next scenario based dashboard on that. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for giving me time for today. Let's meet tomorrow. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Thank you,
Same
ma'am.
to you. Yeah. Bye-bye.